Yeah, I mean, you have the fact that you've grown personally, you're making all these changes, and the fact that this fight with Ivana, like, there's a lot on the line here. There's been a lot of talking from her. Like, I'm sure you're just ready to get out there. So what's the biggest motivation right now in terms of this fight?
The biggest motivation for me is just becoming a three-division world champ faster than any other boxer, male or female.
Anybody, ever.
Yeah, Lomachenko holds becoming a three-division world champ the fastest right now, and that's in 12 fights, and I'm doing it in 10 come January 10th. So that's my main motivation. Regardless of what she say, her actions have to show, you know, so she can say whatever, you know. I think it's sad that she's using her coach's incident that happened in Flint to kind of, I don't know, like make herself bigger, you know, and it's like, that's kind of insensitive to me. You know, it's like, do you really care about your coach or not? But for me, it's just like, I hate a situation happen, you know, but she keeps bringing it up in every interview. She's like, I'm doing this for my coach. I'm doing this because of this. I'm doing it, you know, and she just, oh, Claressa can't read. Claressa can't comprehend. Claressa can't this. Claressa can't that. And just blah, 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 blah. And it's like, look, at the end of the day, you know, truth be told, I am the cash cow in women's boxing. Ivana is getting paid the most she's ever got paid for a fight. She's being treated better than she's ever got treated for a fight. But she has to realize, yes, she may want to win, but she's just another opponent. I'm the greatest woman of all time. She's just somebody who's showing up, who's an opponent, who worked their way up to be ranked #1 to fight for these belts, but she's going to lose, just like everybody else.
I feel it. I love that you just live your life unapologetically. Like, I chose this picture of you here because that's who you are to a T, and even hearing you talk like that.
Just be quiet.
Yeah.
You know, shut up.
You set the tone. So when you think about it, like whether it's women in boxing, women in society, like we like to put women in boxes and not give them the respect they deserve. But you live your life unapologetically. When did you get to that point that you're just like, screw it, I'm going to do me? And, you know, who inspired you along the way for that?
You know, I've always tried to do that, but there's people who come in your ear and they say certain things. Or they say, oh, women's boxing sells if you do this or if you do that. And I kind of did my own homework. And I did try some of their ways, you know, people giving you advice, you try some of their ways. But, you know, a special somebody, Andre Ward, told me, like, sis, if that's who you are,
go for it.
Be who you are. Like, he was like, look, he was like, I'm not a big trash talker. Whenever I talk, I speak in a couple sentences and I get my point across and I leave it there. But he was like, you, on the other hand, you a woman, you bold, you know, you outgoing, you speak up for yourself and other women. He said, if that's who you really are, which he's been knowing me for years too, he was like, that's who you really are, don't let nobody change you. And when he told me that, it kind of was like, all right, it's definitely go time now. like I'm not gonna, you know, have to keep forcing myself in dresses and wearing heels and
you just do
having to wear my hair straight and all this other crazy stuff just to feel like, oh, if I don't do this, I'm not gonna get the publicity that I want. He was like, the publicity that's gonna come to you is people who relate to you. You don't want it. If everybody relates to you, it's a problem. And I say that because there's not a one person in this world who could say that they like everything about a person. You know what I mean? So it's like people may not like that I talk trash, but I also back it up, and I'm a great fighter.
Yeah.
They may not like that, you know, I'm carrying a sport of women's boxing, but I am the best woman fighter, and that's my role, and that's my goal to speak up for all of us. It's some women fighters, even though I took the fight game to unique measures, they still don't like me just because of their own personal reasons. So it's like, at the end of the day, no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody who don't like you, and it's like, for me, all right, cool. You don't have to like me, but you will respect what I do.
Yeah, amen to that.
And that's kind of how I am.
Yeah, even like throwing the UFC stuff in there, it's like, all right, great, that would be awesome and all that, but like, you're killing it in boxing.
Yeah,
like, let's just focus on that. You know, we're always trying to make these super matches and everything. Like, how much does that bother you? Like, do you let that stuff kind of seep in, or it's like, why can't we just focus on the boxing as opposed to like Nunes and Shields and Cyborg and all that sort of stuff?
I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest. It's all a combat sport. I think I'm a better street fighter than boxer, and I say that because of my street fighting days.
Well, you got some experience with that, right?
Back in the day.
Back in Flint.
Yeah, you know, back in the day. So MMA is something that intrigues me just because it's a combat sport.
Sure.
And it's something else to learn. You know, I'm 24. Now that I've learned everything in boxing, but I know more than all the other women fighters and a lot of the males, you know. So I'm like a boxing enthusiast. Like I know everything about boxing. I feel there's maybe some stuff that other fighters can teach me, but I know everything that I need to know. So I feel like with MMA, it's kind of more of a like the second coming of my life. But I'm never going to stop boxing. Like I actually plan to have my first MMA fight at the end of the year. I don't know against who, but it's definitely going to happen. We've had talks at One Championship, PFL, UFC. I don't want to forget nobody. One Championship, PFL.
There's definitely a lot of
and Bellator.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to forget nobody. But everybody is super respectful of me. Like I've talked to Dana White, and it's just great to have that respect as a woman when women really don't get it, especially coming from boxing.
Yeah.
You've never heard about them even caring about if another girl boxer fought against an MMA fighter.
No.
It's never even come
that
up.
Conversation.
Changing the conversation. So for me, it's like I know I'm great in boxing. I'm a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. You know, undisputed world champ, about to be a 3-division world champion come January 10th. So for me, it's like I'm trying to figure out like what's the best way to make the most money out of my career and my lifespan that I'll be here boxing and doing whatever I'm doing, because I won't be here to do it forever.
Right.